Well, first and foremost, Laura, the race has just started. The 176 riders have just left Nice from the area right behind me and have started what is known as the départ fictif, the first 15 minutes of the race, which all the riders will stay behind the race director, Christian Prudhomme, and then he will lower the flag and the race will start at 2:15. So today's stage one is one which favours the sprinters, one of the few stages during this 107th Tour de France edition which will favour the sprinters. A flat stage, 156 kilometres, which start in Nice and will finish on the Promenade des Anglais, also in the city. You mentioned favourites. Well, three names come to mind. The defending champion, of course, Egan Bernal of Ineos Grenadiers. The Colombian is one of the strongest riders at the moment, but it will be a new look Ineos team without Chris Froome, without Geraint Thomas, both winners of course of the Tour de France, with Ineos shifting a little bit the team that will now support Egan Bernal. French hopes, on the other hand, will rest with Thibaut Pinot, the Française des Jeux rider who crashed out in 2019. Very emotional moment for him, of course. A Frenchman hasn't won on home soil since 1985, and Bernard Hinault, so the whole hopes of the French people are behind Thibaut Pinot. We'll have to see whether he can deal with that pressure. And one final name, Primoz Roglic of Jumbo-Visma. The Slovenian has had a fantastic season, a fantastic 2019 as well. He won the Vuelta, he came third in the Giro, so he will be one to watch. Most people are touting a final battle between Egan Bernal and between Primoz Roglic when they go on the Champs-Élysées in Paris in 3 weeks' time.
And Simon, there are unprecedented challenges for the Tour de France this year, aren't there? Some said this race shouldn't be going ahead at all.
Yes, a lot of criticisms aimed at Tour de France organisers who believe, of course, that considering the amount of cases spiking in France, considering that Nice also is in the red zone at the moment, that it would be unprudent to host the race. But the reality is that the Tour de France is really the heart and soul of world cycling. It represents millions in terms of finances, and cycling, some have said, would not be able to survive if it were not for the Tour de France. So measures in place, particularly strict ones for the teams involved in the race. They had to be tested twice ahead of the start. They'll be tested another 2 times during both break days. Just as we can see the traditional caravan of the Tour de France go past me, the advertising and publicity elements that accompany the race. And just to get back to that testing, Laura, one very important piece of information is that if staff or riders of any given team test positive twice in the same week, then the whole team will simply be disqualified. So very strict protocols in place in this health and safety bubble that we're seeing at the Tour de France. And of course, in terms of the fans, well, no fans at the start or at the finish of the races, but very hard to police when it comes to the open road, where we do expect thousands of people, as is tradition, to line the roads of the Tour de France.
All right, good luck to